Hi, welcome to this video series on how to create a crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. My name is Ayuba Ojonogwa Moazu, and I'm a software developer and also a blockchain engineer from Africa, Nigeria. And I've spent at least 10 years now as a software development expert, and I think 2 to 3 years as a blockchain engineer. And if you have been visiting the education ecosystem, you will get to see my tutorials, project tutorials on blockchain applications and programming, and the C# programming. So in this video tutorial here, this new video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create a crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. So at the end of the day, we are going to have an interface that looks like this, an app that looks like this, where we get to see a crime aware report covering a total of 62 cities in the United States. So our application will cover city names, the number of crime occurring in that city, the incidents, when the incident happened, and then when the incident first happened, and then the last incident date. And then of course we can also search for crimes by city. So we can just select the city, view date from, date to, and then get to view the crime report of that particular city using this Crimeometer API. So stay with me onto this exciting video, and I'll teach you all that needs to take to call this API, to consume this API, and consume this API and display the results on your web page. Thank you. Hi, welcome to session 1 on this video series on how to create a crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. My name is Ayuba Ojonogwa Moazu. Now in session 1 here, we're going to look at the overview of Crimeometer, what it's all about, what the team is doing, and then we're going to look at the data API and a special kind of application called CityCop that they created. So we're going to look at that. And then we're going to try to design an application that looks like CityCop, only in our own application we won't be able to add data to the database, but instead we'll just retrieve information and display it on the web page. So let's go to the Crimeometer website and see what they have. Let's start from here. Now I can just move this. Let's go here and see what they have. So you can see they said the most accurate crime data API in the world. Okay, that's the claim here. Let's get this up and running. Now, Crimeometer, making crime visible, worldwide crime data API. And the goal of these websites, the design team here, is to get a complete database of crime incidents that has been happening all around the world. But for now, I think they're targeting the United States and South America, Brazil, and other countries in South America. So how can Crimeometer help you? Crime data so relevant, it can shape how your customers go about their day-to-day lives. Instant and accurate crime data, powerful crime maps, 50+ cities in the US and all around the world. Now they've captured a whole lot of crime incidents that has been happening in all the states, these cities in the US and most cities in South America. And then of course they have these products that we can look at: crime data API, crime map API, and embedded crime map API. For now, we're going to focus on these, the crime data API, where we're going to pull information from their database via the API they provided for us. So we're going to pull that, and then we're going to see all about that. Now if you go to crimeometer.com, you can contact them, and if you want an API, a specialized API to be able to test. And of course, if you go here, you can see the pricing and all what you can do with it. Of course, the products here, they have different products: crime data API, crime map API, and the rest. So that's that about this. If you go to live map, maps.crimeometer.com, you should be able to see maps of like what they have here, maps of different cities and the crime rate in those cities. But what we are going to create actually here is we're going to create a kind of web app where you select a city and then you see the crime incidents in that city. For example, you want to see crime that has to do with theft in Arizona, for example. So you select Arizona, I'll select the dates. Let's say, okay, I want to see all the crime incident that's happened in the last 2 months in the state of Arizona in the US. So you can select that in our own application, and then you get to see different crime rates, crime incidents rather, that's happened there. And then you can decide to say, oh, I think I might fade into this city, I might stay here. Or if the crime was scary, you can say, no, I can't stay where there's too much car theft and all that. But anyway, that's what we are going to create. Now, they have a whole lot of products. Let's go to crime data API, which is what we are interested in. So you click on that, and let's get that up and running and see. So they talked about the most accurate crime data API in the world, and get instant worldwide crime data around the areas you care about. Good. So here is it. Here's the API definition. The crime data API lets you request crime data information, including raw crime data, safety quality indexes, that's SQI, statistics, and safety recommendations for a specific location. The API provides access points that let you query crime data. Now they give an example here. This is a request example of raw crime data access points for a specific location. So you can see this is the location. They provided the latitude, the longitude, and then the initial date time, the end time, and then the distance you want to cover. So this is a sample API key that we are going to use, although it has limitations. And then this is an example of a result. You can see this is in JSON format, but we're going to deserialize this and have this in grid view probably. So you can see an example of that. Like for here, we have the incident code to be this is the date, and the date must conform to this format. And then incident type, alcohol related offense. Alright then, incident source name, this crime is being reported or it's being documented by the Austin Police Department crime reports. So that's the source of this crime, the source of this reports, this information. And then this is the incident description, this is the streets that this happened, and it is the latitude, longitude, and of course this is the streets. Yeah, 816 Lafayette Street. So the same thing, we have that now. So we have this example in which we are going to create ours. We're going to look at how we can leverage on these and create a meaningful application out of it. Now, what's the next thing? I think let's go to API documentation so you can read. You can just go there and see what's there. Let's get to see the docs. Good. So here's the documentation. You can just go through. Now they have for this documentation we have raw data version 1, raw data version 1 coverage, statistics version 1, crowdsourced raw data version 1. Now we're going to focus on this for now, raw data version 1, and then try to get information about that. But anyway, you can still read these and just to have an overview of what's happening here. And these are the information we're going to display. But I'm going to do this, so probably if you're a lazy reader, you can just learn from this video and see how you can call this useful and beautiful API to create intelligent crime application that you want to use. So okay, For the sake of simplicity, like I said, we're going to create something like this. Let me go home. We're going to create an application called Crime Aware, just a simple web app. And this is what Crime Aware is going to do. Now in our home page here, we are going to display a Crime Aware report covering a total of 62 cities in the United States. So we'll just pick this, and then for each of this city, let's say for the city, for New York City for example, this is the total crime that has been reported since January 1st 2006 to 31st December 2019. So a total of 6,863,640 crimes has been happening in New York City. So this should make someone who wants to move from, let's say, one city to the other to say, okay, can I really stay in New York City? The crime rate here is much. Or can I really stay in Boston or Dallas or San Francisco? You know, at least San Francisco, the crime rate is not much, although this is just 2018 to 2020, and we have about 308,000 crime reported. Well, anyway, so this is how it is, and you're just going to get all the crime details here. Now we can even go deep. One beautiful thing about the crime data API that Crimeometer provides for us is we can go deep. We can select specific locations by selecting the longitude and the latitude of a particular street we're interested in. So let's say this is New York. You're interested in a particular street in New York, for example. You get the longitude and latitude location of that street, and then you know you get to see the crime reports of that particular street or that particular area. So here, crime by city, here this is just like a generic report, so we need to see the detailed report, and that's what we're going to do here. So you're just going to select a city, for example. Let's say you select a city, for example, so you select Austin, for example, and then you select this date to this date, and then you view. So we're going to display the crime incident that's happened in this particular time. So you can see, although you can see description, it says not available with the evaluation key, so we can get to see the description and this. I've been using the other key that I was provided with, but I don't know, it's just not working. But anyway, I will still try using that key, and if you want to use a live key that works, you can just subscribe to just get an API key. You can go to pricing and get an API key. So well, at the end of the day, we're going to have these, and you're going to see different lots of incident offense. For example, you can see assault offenses, motor vehicle theft on these dates, family offenses, driving under the influence of alcohol, and then just different kind of. Here is just the first page, so we're displaying like 100 list of crime reports, and you can see the beautiful thing is you can see the incident latitude and longitude, so you can get to know the exact location and the street. Now assuming this is displaying, you would have seen the exact location where this crime occurred. So that's what we are going to do. But anyway, the Crimeometer team has this beautiful application they call CityCop. So you can go to citycop.org and view that. Now CityCop is where everybody is a cop. So you see a crime happening in your location, you can just quickly report that crime, and then the police can quickly take action. So you can watch this little video here about CityCop and get to see. So we are CityCop. If you see something, do something, outsmarting crime together. So you can download their app on Apple Store and use. So here is it, and look at statistics, reports from different areas in the United States, in South America, like Buenos Aires in Argentina. You can click on this map to view Austin that we are using. So you can click on Austin and see embedded crime maps. So let's see what we're going to have from here. So you can see different incident types, and this green here signifies burglary, this kind of blue signifies homicide, vandalism, drugs, assault, and the rest. So you can see each of them. So like for example, you click on these, so this loads. This is the date, burglary date, you know, 2017 at this time. Description: burglary, breaking and entry at this point. So you can see this is a very beautiful application that City Corp has been able to do. So you can click on each of these crime locations to get to see. So let's look at this Wembley's place. Let's see what happened here. There's an assault here, intimidation at this, and then let's look at vandalization of properties. So destruction and damage, vandalism of property at this place, 1511 Canterbury Street, on this day 2017. So just in 2017 alone, we can see a whole lot of crime incident. Now this is what City Corp has been able to do. But like I said, for simplicity case, just to get started with Crimeometer API, we're just going to do something that is just simple like this. We just get to display information, but what you want to do with this information, how intelligent you want to use this information, is up to you. You can be very creative about that, but what I just want to show you is how you can call this API and display the result of this API either on a label, a grid view, or any other control that you want to use. So you could actually decide to create a map just like City Corp and display this kind of information, since you have the longitude and latitude of it. So stay with me on to the next video, where we'll start by just creating the simple interface that we want and then get this application up and running. And I hope you're going to enjoy this video. So thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to session 2 on this video series on how to create a crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. My name is Ayuba Ojanokwamuazu. Now in this session 2 here, we're going to create our user interface which will conform to what we have here. So we're going to create an interface called Crime Aware, and then we'll have home and then crime by city. So home will just display a list of all the cities that the API has. So we're going to call a particular a part of the API to be able to display a list of all the cities. We're going to call the raw data API actually to display a list of all the cities where Crimeometer is covering. And then the second one, we are going to create a user interface where we can search by each of those cities we've created. So that's just basically what we are going to do. So we're going to have these, and then we're going to have search by crime city. So the first thing I would like you to do, okay, before doing that, let's open your Visual Studio, then go to new website. Select an empty project, so empty website, and then you can give it a name. My name, Crime Aware, and then I'm running on HTTP localhost. So before you do this, if you want to run HTTP localhost, you have to open Visual Studio as an administrator. So I go right ahead and click OK. Okay, good. So we have an empty website here. So I'm going to start just add a new page. I'm not going to use master page on this, just for simplicity case. So we'll add a new item, a new web form. We call this default, so it's going to be the home page. And then we have the second one, we'll call it search. Call this search. So like I said, I'm not using master page on this, so I'll probably have to code everything to look the same. So now after doing this, I'll recommend you go to getbootstrap.com and then download the bootstrap file. Let's go getbootstrap.com. So you just download the latest version. So I've downloaded this before and I have it here in my downloads. I have version 4.31. so you open it and then you copy the CSS and JS file. Add it to your project. So now we can for each one we can pick Bootstrap, the minified version of the CSS, paste it here, and then for the search we do the same thing. So we pick that, paste it here. Good. So we'll quickly create our user interface, and then we can leverage on this div. So we say class role and then div class md6. We'll put our h1 class, give a small space up, and then we call this crime aware. Then we also have div class colon md6. I think it's a little bit cold here. I'll try to wear a sweater. md6, just create our nav tabs there. So URL class here, we're going to create our nav tabs. I class p2. Let's make this p4. A class btn info. Style is there should be a default, so we're gonna call this home or default. Same thing, li class p4 a class btn info href, and then we'll put this as search. So we say let's be looking at this interface and follow what we have. So crime by city, search crime by city, right? So crime by city. So now we have this. So we can create another one. We'll say div class md12. So we can display our label here. So we can put this message: welcome to crime aware report covering a total of 62 cities. Now these 62 cities, we counted all these cities here, so we're going to do that programmatically. So but let's just drop this. So we'll just drop a label there. Just drop a label there. So we can call this label message LBL MSG. So good. So that's for default. We can run this and see. Okay, all right. We need to put this in the middle. So here I can see P4 and then text center. I can pad this whole can style this a little. Say padding left, probably 20 pixel for everything. So I save these and run again. Good. So we can put the message: welcome to crime aware reports covering a total of dash cities in the United States. So we can put it like this. We can say welcome to crime aware reports covering a total of, then after this, say cities in the United States. Good. Let's save this and run this. So in this label here, we're going to add the number of cities that we're going to calculate that. So we can pick this whole what we just did here, and pick everything here. Okay, let me just pause this and then just do it in the next video. Thank you. Hi, continuing from where we stopped in the last video, we shall code the interface for the search.aspx, which is this. So it's basically going to be the same thing we have here, except that we're going to make some few changes. So of course, the if class rule, if class going to make this rule, and if you like, you can just copy everything we have from here to this place. So you can just copy this and then add it here. So good. So we have home, we have crime by city, so we are coding the crime by city now. And then what we said we're going to do is we're going to make our users to be able to select a city. First of all, we're going to load the city. Okay, here's what we do. We're going to enable our user to select the city and then view crime based on that city. So you just select a city like Chicago, New York, for instance. You put date from, date you want to view the crime from, and date to. So you just click that and then you view. So that's what we are going to do, and then you get to see the information here. Okay, good. That's what we're going to do now. And the date actually have a format that we're going to use. When we come into that, I'm going to show you what it means. But first of all, let's just create this interface, crime by city. So let me go back there. Okay, so we're going to have this, right? Select city, date from, date to, and then view. So we're going to have it like this. So we say div class column md2 probably. So we say select city, and let's go and make this p b2, div class column md2. Now should I use dev express for this? I actually used dev express controls here. I'm thinking whether it's necessary if I use dev express controls here. I think we don't really need it. Let's just use a standard drop down. So let's drop a drop down list box here. I'll call this CBO CT and give it a width of maybe 200 pixel. So here has this, so we can align everything together. So I can say div class md8. So here will just be empty, the empty space. So that's for select city. Then date from, date you want to view crime from, and then date to. So div class md2, date from, div class md2. So we'll drop a standard text box there. So text date from, so say div class md8. And date to now, div class md2, say date to, div class md2, drop our text box. And there was a text date to, div class md8. Good. So we have a select city, date from, date to, and then okay, here instead of column md8, first of all let's just column md2, and then drop our button. And then I can say view reports. View reports. So this should btn view, and then we can end that by saying div class md6. Okay, it's good to put this space p2, pad it up. So let's run this again and see. So let's refresh this. Let's refresh the crime away up. So let's hit let's click this button. Okay, I need to bring this down completely, and then I need to style this. So we'll say padding left into pixel. Good. I need to put a breakpoint there just to style it and make it more beautiful to look at. Okay, good. I can even drop this label here, this label that I have here, or I can just drop this message. I'm thinking select a city and view its crime reports. So let's refresh this. Okay. It's good to put these in a div class column md12. We can just put a space if we don't want to use this break. So I've made this p4, and then we can drop this in here. So we'll save this, and then let's run this again. Good. I think this is more user-friendly. So now in the next video we're going to fill all this, where we have our cities. We select a city, and then we want to view crime date from, date to, view report, and then we see different reports of crime in that particular city. Okay, and then here we're going to just display the list of cities and its great view of crime reports. Okay, so that's that about this. Just stay with me onto the next video, where we start coding this application and start interacting with the Crimeometer API. So thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to session 3 on this video series on how to create crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. Now in session 3 here, we're going to code our application and integrate fully the Crimeometer API. Now if you remember, in session 1 I actually took you to this URL here, crimeometer.com/docs, and then where you can read a whole lot about the API. So what you can see here, crime incident is a simple API for anyone to get crime incident data from a specific location. For testing purposes, we provided a limited public evaluation API key, which is this, so you can try out the API call below. Also, you can request a private API key with increased limits and access to release versions, or release version here. Okay, so we're going to look at that. And now here's the release version. The release version provides access to 30+ cities across the US and Latin. So in this version they have 3 access points available. The first one is raw data, which is what we are going to work with now. So you just look at it. Now for the raw data access points in version 1, we use FBI NIBRS. I don't really know what this means, standard, and we offer the following output attributes to each. So we have city key, incident code, incident date, incident offense code, and the rest. Now let's just scroll down. These are all the fields we're going to have for the raw data version. Now we also have the crowdsourced data version, where you can, it's a new access point introduced in version 1, which provide access to crowdsource raw data from the world. This information is collected from the community through City Cop app. So this information is actually collected from the City Cop app that they use. Now for the first one, for this page, for the home page, we want to see the list of all the cities, just like we have here. Where is it? Here. Let's go to the first page. That's in the one I created, and this is the one we're creating. So we want to see the list of all the cities, you know, and then the total crime that has been reported. Now this information is actually gotten from the City Cop app. That's what it's claimed on the website. So we are going to call that. Now you can actually, if you scroll down, like raw data version 1, or let's say we'll go to raw data version 1 coverage. Let's click on this. You can see how to call the raw data version 1. We do the get API. We use the get method and call this, and with all these parameters. But this is not what I'm looking for. Let's look at the coverage. Good. I believe here's what I'm looking for. So we want to get the data coverage of all the incidents, crime incident that's happened within that has actually ever been reported. So we just want to get that list first. So we're calling this raw data version 1 coverage. So we're going to call this get API here, and if you click on this, you can see there are different programming languages you can try. Like I have this in C#. If it's just raw, you can see how you can call these to follow your own programming language that you want to use. So just want to take you through one by one. So this is how the response is going to be. You can see we have city key, city name Chicago, then crime incident quantity, and then incident first date and last date, which is exactly what we have here. Keys, city name, total crime, date from, and date to. So I named mine like this. Okay, we're here. I think we don't need this. Now, like I said, you can call on different programming language, JavaScript, Node.js, Python, PHP, and the rest. But we are interested in C#. And if you're a Visual Basic developer, you can go here. But we're interested in C#, so we come here. Now, you can see what it says here. First of all, we need to install Microsoft.NET HTTP from our nuggets. And then here is the codes. We need to run this code to be able to get that API. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these codes and then explain it. So let's copy from here up to this point, and then we're going to see the errors we're going to have, and we're going to fix those errors. So for the first page, which is default, we'll right click, we go to view code, and then we can just create function. We'll say public void gets incidents, or get incident coverage, and I'm going to drop that code that I pasted here. So first of all, we need the HTTP client class, which is this. Good. So you can see, so we need to use using system.net.http, right? Okay, system.net.http. Now we need to install this from our nuggets package. So here's what you're going to do. We're supposed to have system.net.http, but we just come to website, manage nugget packages. Make sure you're connected to the internet before you do that. We're going to need newtonsoft.json. So I think at this point you just install this tool, newtonsoft.json. We're going to need it to be able to deserialize our JSON response. So let's add this first. Just click OK. So we add this to our application. Okay, so we've added that one, newtonsoft.json. You can see a bin folder has been created for us, and then we need a system.net.http, so we can search that here. I can say system.net.http. Good, so here's it. So we install the latest and stable version. Okay, an error called why so are we having an error? Let's install this again. An error call while retrieving package metadata for Newtonsoft. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me remove that first and then reinstall it. Let me remove this first. Let me remove the bin folder first. You might not experience this error I'm experiencing, but you know what to do. Let's remove this. And then let's start with the system.net.http. Let's install that. Let's install that. We'll come back to Newtonsoft we need it, so we'll come back to it later. Let's just take this one by one. Okay, all right, so I'm done installing this, right? system.net.http. So here now I say using system.net.http. Okay, good. So you can see we have await here, so we'll have to make this method async. And if we make this method async, we have to make this page, default page, we have to set the async to true. If not, we're going to have an error, so you have to set this to true here. Good. So now you can see how the base address has been declared, which is https api.crimeometer.com, and then we declared a variable http client, of course calling this base address, and then in our using statement, and then http clients that we declared default request headers. We try these try add without validation key, but we need to provide our access token here, so we can try with the free access token first. So on crimeometer.com, the docs, you can scroll up a little and get this key. So this is a public evaluation key you can try and use. So you copy this and then you paste it here. So for now, this is all that is needed. Now we'll have our response data here. Let's display our response data on the label. So let's display our response data first. Okay, move this here. Good. Let's display our response data first. So let me just create, I can say div class column md12 p4 text center. Let me just drop a label 1, and display our response data. Right, so here we see label 1, the text should be response data, which is this string that was declared here. So then on page load, let's call this, so let's say get incident coverage. So let's run this and see. We already have it here as default, so let's run this. Hopefully it compiles and we don't have any problem. Okay, the request was aborted, could not create SSL TLS secure channel. I think this has to do with we'll have to look at our .NET framework, system.net.web exception. Let's go look at our .NET framework. Usually this error comes with okay, our target framework is 4.5. Let's change it to 4.6. I have 4.6 installed, so make sure your .NET framework is 4.6 and above. Okay, so I'll save this. I'm gonna refresh this page again. Okay, good. So you can see we have our JSON response nicely formatted like this. Now, how are we going to convert these into a nice interface into a nice interface like we have here. So we need to deserialize that. We need to deserialize this response here that we got from the server. So the easiest way to do this actually is you copy this, copy everything here up to this point, you copy it, go back to your Visual Studio, create a class in the app code folder. So add a new ASP.NET folder called app code, and then we create a class, add new item. Let's just leave it as class 1. Let's just leave it class 1.cs. So good, so we have this class 1.cs, right? Now I can just remove all these. Now I have an empty class here. Then you go to edit, paste special, so paste JSON as classes. So the JSON response we copied here, this, we want to paste it as classes, so Visual Studio will automatically do the magic for us. So paste special, paste JSON as classes, and good. And you can see we have this, it's pasted as classes for us. So we have a root object and then the class city. So the root object, we have cities count. We can count the number of cities just like we have here. So you can see cities count, we have 62 cities here. And then starting from here, from this here, we have an array of the cities. So starting from this open braces, we have an array of all the cities. So this is an array of cities, and it contains 60 key, city name, incident quantity, first incident date, last incident date. So if you want to get the city count, it's just very easy, you can do that. And if you want to get an array of the cities, you can do that. So we're going to use both of them here. So let's go back here, and then first of all, let's get the city count. So I don't need this for now again. So I'll say lbl message dot text should be okay. Before we do this, we need to deserialize this object. So to deserialize that, we need to add newtonsub.json. We need to add it to our project. So we go to website, manage NuGet packages. So newtonsub.json, we run the latest and the stable version. And let's just hit OK. Just click install. So you search for newtonsub.json, you can search for it here, and then you click install like I'm doing. Okay, I believe there should be a problem actually. An error occurred while retrieving package metadata for this. So there's a conflict between the system.net HTTP 4.3 dependency behavior lowest. Dependency Microsoft.NET version 4. File conflict action, prompt ignore all. Let me click on this and see. Oh, we're still having the problem, right? Let me go to 12.0.2. Okay. Let me go 0.3. So there's actually a problem, I think, between these two. No dependencies, but I don't even think this should be the problem. Okay, click ignore dependency. It's just try and error. Actually, I just did, but I wonder why. Well, I ignored dependencies, so I just hope this work. So I checked this ignore dependency, and I'm installing 10.0.3. It should work, I believe. Sure, we have to ignore dependencies. I saw the dependencies were .NET Framework 4.5 and the rest, and we're using .NET Framework 4.6. So probably maybe that could be the issue. Okay, so we have installed this. We've installed it successfully. Okay, and okay, now the next thing is to deserialize, right? So let me go here with object, let me say city data. Okay, okay, to deserialize this, thinking it's like I've forgotten this codes on how to deserialize. Can I reference what I did in the last video? Let me just check this. I call it website 2, right? Let me open these with Notepad, and then I'm looking for a line of code that just escaped my memory. Okay, good. Here's what I'm looking for. Let me copy this and then explain it, so we don't need you again. Good. Now not root city object, root object. So we're calling this class. Let's close this. In this class here, so you can see we have this class root object, and so we're calling this class here, and then we call it city data, and then JSON convert. Yes, here's what I'm looking for, the deserialize. So we can change this to root objects. So we're deserializing this response data, and let's look at potential fixes here using Newton's soft.json. So we need to declare that up. So using Newton's soft.json. So JSON convert deserialize object response data, and then now we can say our label LBL message dot text to simply be city data, cities counts. It's easy as that. Okay, to string. So if we refresh this now, let's save this and refresh our web page. So good. Welcome to Crime Aware Report, covering a total of 62 cities. So we're able to call the total number of cities. We're able to call the total number of cities in the United States that are from the API. So I don't think we need the order label that is displaying below, which is this. So the next thing now will be to add in our grid view. Okay, let me just go back. Now remove this label. Drop a standard grid view there. That's just a grid view 1. The width of 100%. So let's display the information on our grid view. So we'll go back here, and then we're going to say expx grid view 1 dot data source should be city data cities. If you can remember, cities is an array that is declared that has city key, name, incident quantity, and the rest. So so we display cities, and then we say grid view 1 dot data bind, and that's all. After deserializing our objects, this is all. So let's refresh this page. Good. So you can see we have this nicely displayed information. So we have city name, city key, city name, incident quantity, that's total crime, first date, last date of this crime. So that's about this how we can display this information on our homepage. So in the next video, we're going to search crime by city. So for example, like New York City, we want to see the details of the crime that has been reported, details of this 6 million crime that has been reported from this date to this date. So that's that. So stay on with me to the next video, and let's continue. Thank you. Hi, welcome to session 4 on this video series on how to create a crime incident app in C# using the Crimeometer API. Now here we're going to display our search queries based on these interface that we have. So search by crime city. So we are going to load all the cities we have, and then put a date from and date to. But then there is something I want developers of this Crimeometer to be able to do that will make developers' life very easy. What I feel they should do, in which we're going points, this particular API point that we called, that displays all the city name with incident quantity and incident date. We also need it would have been nice to have the longitude and latitude of each city name. You know, for example, like Chicago, we should know the longitude and latitude of Chicago, so that it will be easier to be able to search by that city, because searching by longitude and latitude is very it's a must in this API, in their endpoints that they have. Anyway, we'll get to see that. So we want to work here, search by crime city. So let's go. It's what we're going to do. It's we have basically the same thing here. This piece of code here, we're going to copy the same thing. If we go to search, then we'll go to the backend view code, and then so we can pick this line of code here, then I'll paste that here. Okay, but now we don't need this, and we don't need this. So just come here, we say using system.net.http, and then using newtonsoft.json. Okay, so now here now we're going to say cboct or data source should be ct data, so we get CTs, right? And then cboct text field data text field should be city name. So let's look at it, the data text field here. Should be city name, and then the value field should be city key. So here we have city name, cboct data value field should be city key, and then cbo or city data bind. So we'll bind this, and we can call this get incident coverage here. Get incident coverage. In fact, I can put this in say if there's no post back, then we can do this. So that way, if we come here, okay, we need to set the async since we're calling the async method. We need to set this to be true. So let's refresh this. Okay, good. So you can see select cities. So we have the list of cities here, Chicago, different cities here. So we're able to display this here. Now the idea now is, now once we select, we're not actually doing this search by city, because if you come to your API, like for example this crime incident, right? Let's see the raw. Let's look at the access points we want to use. We want to call. We're interested in calling this raw data version 1. So which is this? And then if you get to look at this, let's switch to console. Okay, here's what I'm interested in. Good. How to call raw data version 1. Now if you look at what they have here, you can see that the longitude and latitude are required. They are not optional. So we need to provide the longitude and latitude, the distance of the area we want to cover, the start time, that's the crime, the date time initial, date time end. It's only this one that is optional, that we can actually make this null, you can see. So what this means here is, before we are able to get the information we want to get here, which is what we got in the other application that I did. For example, we select Austin, and then let's see this date to this date. For you to be able to get the detailed crime and offenses that has been that has occurred, we need to is a must. We need to provide the longitude and latitude of the particular location we are interested in. So if we're interested in the city, if we're interested in this city, Austin, we need to provide the longitude and latitude of the particular point in Austin that we are interested in. If not, we are not going to be able to call this. For example, if you're interested in latitude 30.3351 with this longitude, then we can provide that, and we see offenses that have been committed at this point, or at this point, or at this point, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this website, latlong.net, and then we'll look at each city that we're interested in. We pick the longitude and latitude of it. For example, this is New York. These are longitude and latitude of different places in New York. So it would be a nice thing if the crimometer team should provide us with this kind of information. For example, I come to California, for instance, and this kind of app, you can, with this kind of API, you can actually build, you know, you can actually build a house rent or hotel, or you can actually integrate it into your house rent or hotel application. So if I want to rent a hotel in California, I can just check the hotel, check the latitude and longitude of that area, and see the crime that is happening within that area. Or if I want to build an apartment rent application, you can actually do that. So you can see in California, these are different latitude and longitude of different places in California, like known places. California Coastal National Monuments, Crescent City. Here's the latitude, here's the longitude. California Institute of Technology, Pasadena. Here is the latitude, here is the longitude. So if I'm interested in going to this place and I want to see the crime that is happening along this, with 10 kilometers within this place, I just pick this latitude and longitude, and then I get to see that information. So if the crimometer team can add something like this to the API, then it will really be nice, so that if we're selecting by city, we can select different parts of the city. For example, I could select Miami and then select which place in Miami. You know, another combo box should be if I select which place in Miami, for example. So I get to see different places in Miami. Let me see different places in Miami on this website. So I select Miami and I want to go to, and I'm interested in Miami Gardens. So I just pick this, and automatically I get the latitude and longitude of this area, 10 kilometers within the radius of this area. Okay, anyway, let's proceed with what we are doing now. We're able to display the cities, right, in our combo box. Good. So let me do something here now. I'm going to put auto post back to be true. So if I select the city, I will want to get the longitude and latitude of that city. So on selected index change, I just want to do just a small if else statement here. So I'll say if CBO city dot selected item text is, if it's let me just select 3 places. If it's Chicago, then if it's Chicago, if it's is the house where Chicago? Let me look at it. Okay, Chicago. Chicago. So if it's Chicago, then I can just declare my longitude and latitude here. So string my latitude, string longitude. So let me put this latitude, string latitude, string longitude. So if it's Chicago, latitude should be, let's write it down. So let's look at it. So you can see that's why I'm employing this application now. Chicago. So Chicago, I believe IL should be Illinois, or Chicago Public Library, Illinois. So let me just put this. So the latitude should be this. Let's see, we're interested in the library area. So latitude this, and then longitude this. So the same thing. So let me just say pick like 3 to 4 cities. The first one will pick Chicago. The second one, let's say we are interested in Miami. Okay, so Miami. So let's say we're interested in Miami, Florida. I believe FL should be Florida. But let's say we're interested in Miami Gardens. So latitude this, longitude this. If it's Miami. So latitude this, longitude this. Then let's pick another city. Say New York City. Let's pick a place in New York City. New York City. New York City. So we pick this. Or we can actually use the key New York City. So we're interested in New York City Hall. So at latitude this. And then at longitude this. Now assuming this is part of the API displaying longitude and latitude for each of the calls we made, it would have been easier. We wouldn't have done this if else statements for each of the cities. So let's just do like 4. Now we have New York City, and then let's pick California. Never been there, but I hope one day I'll be there. So California. So let's see, California. We have California here, don't we? seeing California? I think California is very big, and probably there are a whole lot of places in California. Okay, let's pick Philadelphia. Philadelphia, rather. So instead of California, let's look for Philadelphia. Philadelphia. So okay, here's Philadelphia, latitude 39.9 and longitude -75.1. Okay, Philadelphia. Philadelphia. So latitude this, and then longitude this. Okay, good. So let's say we'll work with this law now. I'm going to change this to capital C, Chicago. Save all this, and then I think I need to take this up. It should be outside here. Okay, so each one that is selected, we get the longitude and latitude of that, and that's what we are going to use in our calculation. Now we need to code this button. Oh, where's the search? Good. We need to code this button view. So I'm gonna click create new event. So definitely our it's going to be async. So yeah, of course we're going to use that. Now that we've done this, we can go back to the API, go back to the docs, and then see the C# codes of this. So let's switch back to example. No, I think we switch back to console, right? Is it an example or docs? Let's switch back here and see. Okay, I think it's an example. Okay, good, in C#. So we just copy this line of codes, which is basically the same thing with what I explained in the last video. So I have this here. So we have the base address. We have this, and you can see now we're calling these incident raw data with this latitude, longitude, distance, and all that. Now we want to, each of these cities we pick with, we just want to get the distance 10 miles, radius 10 miles within. We want to get the crime incident for each city, for each particular longitude and latitude 10 miles within. For example, like in Philadelphia, it's in Miami, we choose Miami library area. So we want to see 10 miles radius within the area, the crime that has been happening there. So let me pick this access token. That is this. This is the evaluation token. I'll try the other token that was given to me and see, probably we'll get better results. But let's just try this and get everything up and running first. So we add this here. So here now, what we're just going to do, we're just going to add our latitude and longitude in this place. So here's what I'm going to do here. So just add this, and then I say plus latitude, and for the longitude too, the same thing. Longitude, then distance we can say 10 kilometer. So we're not coding this, we'll just write maybe 10 miles, 10 mi. I think it's part of what is. So you can see latitude has to be in this format. Is required, so latitude is required, longitude is required, distance is required, so we'll just say 10 miles. Date time is required, and then date time initial, date time end is required, and it has to be in this format. Date time has to be in this format. So date time is required, right? So for date time, here's what I'm going to do, since it has to be in that format. Text date from dot text plus I want to put the format in here. Alright, I want to write the format in here. So I want to write the format in there. Which I can pick that from here. So I can pick these. The format is not like this. The format is not like this. Have a format I want to pick. Format has to be year, month, date, and then T, then this. Okay, here's the format. T, right? So let's just say 00 hours. Zero minutes, 00 seconds, 000 Z. Here's the format. So date from and then date to. Plus text date to dot text, and then we pick this. Good. So then page can just be the first page. So I save all this, and then I display these in my grid view. Now you have to understand something. Let's first of all display these response data in our let's get the JSON response first. So let's release on a label, then we pick that and generate a class out of it. So search, I like to have this together. Good, it works better for me this way. So let's say I drop a label here. Div class md12 p3 text center. So let's say I drop a label. Label 1, right? So that I can get the JSON response and then create a class out of it. So here's a label 1.text, should be response data. So let me get this response data. So for each city we selected, we get the longitude and latitude. Okay, so let's go to crime by city. And then let's say New York City. So we'll get the longitude and latitude, and then let's say the year 2019 0420, 2019 0520, because the dates format has to be like this. So let's click on view report. Okay, missing required request parameter longitude and latitude. So I added that. I added the longitude, latitude here. Okay, let me see, probably I'm making a mistake somewhere. Okay, yeah, sure. It's going to miss because once we click the button, it sends a post back and this becomes null. So I guess this should be this piece of code should be here. So we probably don't need this. Oh, that was wrong calculation. Now we can change the auto post back. We don't need it to be true. We don't need the selected index change. Let's save this and run it again and see. So let's click view report. Good. So you can see for the city of New York, we have this nice JSON response here. So let's pick this and generate a class out of it. So I copy these, and then I can actually paste these in this class, you know, or I can create a new one. I can just create a new class. Let's see, we add a new class, class 2. Okay, good. Click OK. And go to edit, paste special, paste JSON as classes, and then we have this. So of incidents, so you can see it's conflicting with these, and then which, if you don't want to do this way, you can copy this whole code and bring it back to the first class. So I can call this root city object. Good. So if we want to get the total incidents that's happened in New York for that time frame we selected, we can get the total here, and then we can have display this in our grid view as we want. Now here's what we're going to do. Now that we have this, let's go back here. Sorry. So let's deserialize these and have it on our grid view. So using Newton's soft, right? Good. So we'll say root city object, which is a class we're calling. Okay, our city or our incidents. Our city, and then JSON converts deserialize object. City object, and then response data. Am I correct? Okay, here is supposed to be like this. Okay, good. Now so let's put this on our grid view, and we need to put our grid view here. Instead of this label here, we're just going to drop a standard grid view there. So let's drop a standard grid view there. Give it a width of 100%. So we'll say grid view one data source should be RCT incidents. View one data bind. So let's see what we are going to get from this. So refresh this page again. Okay, let's select Philadelphia. This date to this date. Let's click view reports. Good. So you can see we have this in our grid view, but the columns are too much. We don't want to have all these columns here, so you can see they are much. So I believe what we should just do is We're interested in displaying city key, incident date, incident offense, then incident offense description, or no, incident offense detail description, then incident source name, then latitude, longitude. I think just some few fields. So let's go back here, and then in our grid view now we can say auto generate columns to be false. So we put what we're interested in, columns. So we can even look at the fields here. So we're interested in city key, then incident date. Let's start with that. ESP bound field, data field, city key, you can just copy the whole thing, change them. Let's say I want to drop like a 3, let's say like 5, like this. So we'll have city key, incident dates, incident date, incident offense, so I can say offense committed, incident offense description, or let's go to incident offense detail description. I can copy this, incident offense detail description, so I can just simply say description. Then incident offense action, incident source original type. Let's just get incident source name. So incident source name, source. And then what are we interested again in? I think this should be okay. So let's refresh this again. Philadelphia, click view reports. Okay, this is for Chicago. So you can see incident dates, offense committed, fraud offenses, description not available with this API key. But of course we can, let's try another API key that I have. I have another API key, which I believe we should try that. Let's have deleted the API key. Okay, I'll search for the API key and then we'll try that. Well, anyway, if you've made it to this point, this is we've taken the tutorial to the end. You can see we have our crime reports for each city that we're interested in, but that's because we've taken the longitude and latitude of each of this city we're interested in. So like I said, it would be a nice thing if is company Crimeometer API, you should add the longitude and latitude for each city as part of their API. So I can see in Chicago we have a lot of like fraud offenses and the rest. Even in Miami there are a lot of fraud offenses, disorderly conduct, destruction, damage, vandalism of property. Wow, Miami. Okay, so you can see how you can call the Crimeometer API, and you can intelligently put these in any application you're creating, be it a hotel application, an apartment rental application, a vehicle tracking system, and all that. You could integrate this API into your application. But here is how you can call this API and how you can use them properly. So thanks again for watching. My name is Ayuba Ochanugwa Moazu.